So on to the second of the races of the weekend for the Dunlop Sport Maxx Production Cup. And the grid for this one, as per the finishing positions from the race earlier on, but also success ballast, 45 kilograms of success ballast for the race winner, who sits on pole position, Adrian Churchill. The red lights are out, Peter Dignam alongside him. A good start again by the rear-wheel drive Nissan, really able to get the power down off the start-finish line. So Peter Dignam grasps the lead of the race as they head round through Allard for the first time. But Adrian Churchill fighting back in second place, on board with Gareth Downing, who's at the wheel of one of the two BMW diesels we have in the field. The Class A car of Rick Currie directly ahead of him, Gareth Downing in the Class B car. I'll tell you about the respective classes in a few moments. They come through the complex for the first time. There's Jordan Witt, car number 39, who had contact in the complex in the first race. He's side by side with current early stage Class B leader, that being Gareth Downing in the Matt James Racing prepared BMW diesel. But Churchill grasping the lead of the race away from Peter Dignam as they head round through Noble, then on towards Goodwood. The Courtney Sport Astra leads, the RJN Nissan of Peter Dignam, the 32-year-old from Putney, sits there in second position. A train of cars feeding their way round through Village and on towards Church Corner. The Class A cars at the front, that caters for those with between 160 and 210 brake horsepower per tonne. Class B is for those with between 130 and 160 brake horsepower per tonne. Tom Carnaby we ride with, he sits there in fourth position in the Tesco Momentum 99 racing machine. It's a Vauxhall Astra VXR with its four-cylinder turbocharged engine that he's at the wheel of as they head up Woodham Hill for the first time in towards the Club Chicane. The Courtney Sport Vauxhall Astra VXR of Adrian Churchill leads. Craig Currie has managed to slot himself through in the first of the Nissans into second position, with his teammate Peter Dignam, the 32-year-old from Putney, sitting there in third place. Then it's Tom Carnaby in that black and green Vauxhall Astra VXR, the Tesco Momentum car, that sits there in fourth position. And Rick Currie, the former Kumo BMW champion, completes the top five as they charge their way up towards the complex for the second time. This time Churchill's got to leave a gap at the inside because Craig Currie has made it through into the lead of the race. We did see a race victory for Craig Currie at Alton Park earlier on in the season, but it is his first season of motorsport, or four-wheeled motorsport anyway, for the former motorcycle racer. Craig Currie leads. Adrian Churchill, who is already the champion, down into second place. Let's have a look at the replay of the start from Gareth Downing's perspective. See the Mini Cooper S of Andre Maggi alongside him. A very poor start from the Mini, a great start from the rear-wheel drive diesel-powered BMW, really using that torque off the start-finish line and propelling Gareth Downing into, albeit an early lead, of Class B. Up towards the complex, the other BMW diesel, but sits in Class A, Rick Currie ahead of him. Onto the brakes and through Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave. Jordan Witt braking very late round the outside in the Renault Megane. He's also in Class B as well. So you can see just how tight the battles are for the leads of the classes in the respective positions. The field making their way through the Club Chicane. There is the Ford Focus of Tim Saunders, who is doing battle with the Class B Corsa VXR in the hands of Kevin George. Kevin George dinking out to the right-hand side of the circuit and should squeeze his way through as the field make their way up towards the braking area for the complex once more. This is the battle for second and third place in Class B. The Renault Megane Sport in the hands of Jordan Witt is fighting away with the Mini Cooper S of the driver from Syktyvka in Russia, who now resides in Staffordshire, that being Andre Maggi. You can see the blue BMW diesel that leads the class just ahead of them up the road, that being Gareth Downing. His first weekend of 2010 in the Dunlop Sport Maxx Production Cup. And Churchill loses another position. Through has gone the second of the two Nissans, so Craig Currie leads. Now it's Peter Dignam up into second place. Adrian Churchill, of course, he's got that 45 kilograms of success ballast on board. Peter Dignam, who, as a result of his second place in the race earlier on today, only has 36 kilograms of success ballast on board, has managed to squeeze his way through and grasp second place away. So Nissan 1-2, Vauxhall Astra of Adrian Churchill sits there in third place, ahead of the similar car of Tom Carnaby, who's there in fourth place. As through Allard once more they go. You can see the advantage that race leader Craig Currie has. Here's the fight for second and third in Class B once more for those cars with between 130 and 160 brake horsepower per tonne. Number 39, Jordan Witt, still fighting away with the Mini in the hands of Andre Maggi as we ride on board with the Class B leader Gareth Downing. Just how quick Thruxton Circuit is as onto the brakes up towards the complex. Gareth Downing will make his way. former Fiesta racer. He also raced, of course, in the production class of the British Touring Car Championship a few seasons ago. But the battle for second and third in Class B is still being fought over vigorously by these two, Jordan Witt and Andre Maggi, as Andre Maggi tries to switch back on the exit of Seagrave Corner, the last of the twists and turns in the complex. Then they'll make their way up towards Goodwood and Village. It looks as though the Mini has made it through and taken second place in the class away from Jordan Witt. So the second and third place battle approach the Club Chicane with Peter Dignam slithering his way through the initial right, left and then right flicks once more that bring them over the start-finish line and complete the 2.356 mile circuit here at Thruxton. But that has cost him time, it's cost him the place as well, because Adrian Churchill has managed to retake second position. You can see as this battle is continuing for second and third place exactly how much up the road now Craig Currie, in the first of the Nissans, the race leader, is managing to be. There goes Dan Malone. He currently sits there in 5th position in the Seat Leon. As we go back on board once more with Gareth Downing in the BMW 1 Series diesel. Still leading Class B the way things stand. With the Mini of Andre Maggi now looking a little more secure, second place in the class, ahead of the Renault Megane. And there is 4th place in Class B, the Go Mobile Corsa VXR in the hands of the man in his 20s from Somerset, Kevin George. Here, however, is the Class B leader. Regularly see that blue BMW diesel out in the hands of Keith Isett. Keith allowing Gareth Downing to drive the car this weekend here at Thruxton. And there is the car that's second in the class currently, the Lowen prepared Mini Cooper S of Andre Maggi. Out of the complex they go, and then we'll head down towards Noble and Goodwood once more. With the BMW leading the class ahead of the Mini, the Renault Megane and then the Vauxhall Corsa. Such is the variety in the Dunlop Sport Max Production Cup. Here is our overall race leader, the 32-year-old race director from Newark in Nottinghamshire, Craig Currie, former motorcycle racer, leading the race. A busy weekend it will be for Craig this weekend. We'll also see him out in the Radical races a little bit later on. But for the moment he is handling the Nissan around the very fast Thruxton Circuit very well indeed. The battle is starting to close up as well for 5th and 6th place, because Dan Malone has really reeled in the BMW 1 Series diesel in the hands of Rick Kerry. You can see just how close the Seat is getting to the BMW as they fight over 5th and 6th positions respectively. At the moment though, the West Suffolk Racing prepared BMW leads the EGM prepared Seat Leon Cupra in the hands of Dan Malone, the 19-year-old from Conway in North Wales. But for the moment, it's still Rick Kerry that's hanging on to 5th position, despite the attentions of the Seat Leon behind him. You can see the windscreen wipers going, still drizzling very, very slightly out there at the moment. Kevin George making good progress as well in the Corsa VXR. He's hot on the heels of the driver who's currently second in Class B, that being Andre Maggi. The two of them getting very close as they come out of Seagrave Corner. And then we'll head down the short straight before they then turn through the left-hander that brings them right out onto the far reaches of the circuit. Here is the Class B leader. Look how close the battle is for second in the class, though. The Corsa trying to get up the inside of Andre Maggi as they head round through the very fast sections of the circuit. There's contact between the two of them. There's then further contact. Both cars head off. Damage to the rear end of Andre Maggi's car. Kevin George's car has just about continued. Here is the battle still for 5th and 6th place, with Dan Malone now having got ahead of the BMW 1 Series diesel. So the Seat now heads Rick Kerry as over the start-finish line they go to complete a further lap. There is the damaged car of Andre Maggi, the driver jumping out of the Lowen Racing Mini, and will take no further part in the race. Rather annoyed by the look of things is Andre Maggi following that contact. It's a very, very fast part of the circuit where it took place as well. Well, let's have a look back at the replay of that incident. They head round through Noble Corner up towards Goodwood. Kevin George gets the Corsa VXR up the inside, has the inside line, and I think is just squeezed by Andre Maggi. There's initial contact, then the slightly heavier secondary contact with Kevin George all over the grass on the outside, ultimately rejoining the race. But for Andre Maggi, it spelt retirement and the end of race 2 for him. Well, we're on the final lap of the race, and Craig Currie is certainly being caught by Adrian Churchill. They climb Woodham Hill for the last time, and Craig Currie has, I think, just about enough daylight between himself and the newly crowned champion for 2010 as they come through the club chicane for the final time. Craig Currie is going to claim his second victory of the season in the Dunlop Sport Maxx Production Cup here at Thruxton. He accelerates towards the start-finish line. Adrian Churchill chases him all of the way in second position. You wait the arrival of the third place car, Peter Dignam, who fell a long way back in the closing stages of that one. He comes through in third place, with Tom Carnaby in his first weekend in the Dunlop Sport Maxx Production Cup completing the top four. A good run for the Tesco Momentum car. There is Dan Malone, who had managed to squeeze his way through a few laps earlier up into fifth position. But Craig Currie claims his second victory of the season in the RGN prepared Nissan 370Z. Rick Currie will ultimately come through and complete the top six, and as for Class B, that will go the way ultimately of Gareth Downing in the BMW 1 Series diesel, who's coming in towards the club chicane for the final time. It's the first time that this car has tasted a class victory this season, whether it be in the hands of its owner Keith Isett or today in the hands of Gareth Downing. He comes through and takes the Class B honours. So to confirm the results, Craig Currie takes the win from Adrian Churchill in second, Peter Dignam in third, with Tom Carnaby, Dan Malone and Rick Currie completing the top six.
Craig, congratulations. Didn't manage to take victory yesterday, but you've managed to clinch it today.
Yeah, new rubber on today, and just to help, the circuit's so abrasive. Just with the scrub tyres we had yesterday, we just struggled for grip on the rear end of the race, but today all worked well, really good. It started raining halfway through, which scared me a bit. Rear wheel drive and spots of rain I'm not too happy with, but no, it all come together and we managed to hold off Adrian, so it was really good race. I'd like to thank RGM Motorsport. They've put excellent car together for this weekend, and it's just got better and better every round, and hopefully we can be here again next year.
Adrian, second position, and you actually had quite a bit of a fight on there for you.
Yeah, well, I knew from yesterday, I knew that the Nissans would get slower sort of late on, and I didn't want to tangle with them too much early on, but just not quite enough laps, and I was hoping for one more lap.
It's very different to what you're used to driving. You're used to driving lightweight sports cars and Caterhams, and this is quite a heavy car. It's taken a bit of getting used to?
Definitely. The problem is, especially on a course like this, where it's really fast, and you've got major brakes, especially into the chicane before the start-finish straight. Yeah, it was getting used to trying to pick the same braking points as I do maybe in a lighter car like Ginetta Caterhams or the MGs I used to race. And yeah, I locked up the first time, I must admit, when I came to the thing, and I just have to move the braking point back, so it's quite tricky.
Well, Gareth Downing secured the honours in Class B. Let's hear from our class winner.
Congratulations, Gareth, a victory in Class B, and it seems to be just a case of keeping it on the island there.
Yeah, I was fortunate. I had a good start and was leading the class, but Kevin came past me on the first lap, and I just thought I'm not going to stay with him. He was just too quick, but he threw it off. So I thought that's the lead I'm inherited, and obviously the ones behind then decided to squabble and throw themselves off. So in the end, it turned out quite easy.
I'm happy this weekend, and I've sealed the class victory. Champion of Class B now, and looking back over this season, it's 3 rounds at Castle Combe, I think, that finished it for me. So just looking forward to race 3 now. Go out and have a bit of fun.